What's up everybody, today we're going to be going over some anime figure news, so if you want the heads up on some new figures, or if you just want to do some window shopping with me, we're going to go over WonHobby 35. Now there's a lot to go over today, so I'm going to be breaking this down into multiple videos. We're going to start with the pop-up parades because I think they're the most affordable, but since they are on the cheaper side, they can be either really good or bad, so it should be a lot of fun to look at. So it looks like we're starting off with a bunch of Hololive VTubers. We got Minato Aqua. It's a little hard to judge this one because it's not painted. I feel like a lot of VTuber models really depend on the color to set them apart. On the other hand, we have Marine, whose design is just so bombastic, I think it really lends well to a figure. I think they chose a really good pose because it really complements the jacket. It just looks a lot less static, and I really like the way the sleeves look. I think this one is looking like a pretty solid pickup. Then we have Sakura Miko. This one's actually made by Max Factory. And because this one's painted, it definitely blows Marine out of the water for me. This is another solid one to get, but if I had to guess, she's probably going to be a little more expensive than the usual pop-up parade. It just has a lot more intricate parts and colors than the normal pop-up parade. They recently put up the pre-orders for Pekora, which was 1,000 yen more, so definitely something to be aware of. Hopefully I'm not pissing anyone off. I haven't seen anything from Tokino Sora, but I think her design is just a little more generic and just kind of like your standard idol figure. Fat Company is making Kyoko from Danganronpa. We already have pop-up parades of Nagito and Junko, but Junko came with Monokuma, so that one was a really good value. But I'm sure this is great news because she's definitely a fan favorite. We also got Lucifer from the game Helltaker. Generally, when it comes to cheaper figures, I think the cartoony characters just tend to look a little bit better. So I think this one's going to turn out pretty well once it's painted. I'll probably have to play Helltaker when she goes up for pre-order just to see if I want this one. Then we got several from Jujutsu Kaisen. First is Toge. Generally, I think the clothing just doesn't look that great on the Jujutsu Kaisen figures, so I think you should only get these if you're a massive fan of the character, and you just kind of want a cheap figure of them. Also, something about the hand just kind of looks off to me. Same thing goes for Maki, but I really like her character. She's basically the Rock Lee of Jujutsu Kaisen, so I might get this one. Finally, we got Panda, same deal, but he's got pandas on his hands. But he's got that seam line, I really don't like that. We got a horrific traffic cone, definitely nice for getting some Silent Hill stuff. Let me know in the comments if you're getting this sexy lady. She's definitely got some hot legs. We got Roy Mustang from Full Metal Alchemist. He's definitely got a lot of good figures though, but this one's pretty nice. Really like that gold chain there. Of course, to go with him, we have Riza Hawkeye. The gun's looking a little cheap, but I love Riza. I might have to get this one. Oh man, look at those abs on King Bradley. I'm glad they give him a bunch of swords. Usually pop-ups tend to cheap out on the weapons and props. Next, we got some Black Rock Shooter figures. Honestly, I think this one's pretty lame if you compare it to the other Black Rock Shooter pop-up. This is a pretty neat design, but those shoes must be killer on the feet. We have an announcement of another character from Black Rock. Can't really say I'm into this one. We have a bunch of girls in bunny suits from Psychono. I haven't seen Psychono, so I can't really say I care, but they look pretty generic. I know nothing about Hetalia, but I guess each one of these characters represent a country. I think it'd be a cool idea though if you had a map on a table and you put each one of these on their country. It's just so weird that they don't give the fake characters their weapons. But Mordred's pretty hot, I'm probably gonna get her. Sales at Work is a pretty fun series, but I don't think it's worth spending a lot of money on, so I think this is definitely a good option. I don't know who this is, but I think this one can look really cool once all the metal parts are painted. You got Emilia from ReZero, Lady in Bikini, and Tanya the Evil looking not so evil. I definitely didn't see this one coming. It is a long-haired version of Rei from Evangelion. They haven't done her regular version or any of the other characters. Maybe they're just trying to screw over Mega House with theirs. We got a couple of cute horse girls, Natsu from Fairy Tail, and someone I don't recognize with his clothes on. This is a pretty cute figure of Hollow. There's a nice variety of textures on the figure, so it helps things pop out. We finally have a figure of Kazuma from Konosuba. He's definitely very shiny. And of course they made him a degenerate. I guess pop-up parades must be pretty popular. Wow, say that 5 times fast. But they announced they're making large and extra large versions. The large ones are gonna come out to about 6,900 yen, so about $60, while the extra large is 23,000 yen, so about $200. Can't really say that's affordable, but I guess that really depends on the quality. So the first large figure we have is of Miku. I mean, this is to be expected, but it's still just regular Miku, which we have a million of. Okay, I think this one could be amazing. It is a large version of Guts from Berserk in his Berserker armor. Berserk figures are pretty hard to come by. Most of them are statues that are insanely expensive. I think a lot of people like myself have been wanting Berserk stuff, especially with the passing of Kentaro Miura. May he rest in peace. But I think this one has a lot of potential, since it looks like it has a unique base, so definitely keep an eye on this one. Now this is another one I can get behind. It is an extra large version of the Attack Titan. It was just kind of weird to have the Attack Titan the same size as Eren. But with this larger figure, they have a lot more room for details such as the muscle fibers and especially the face. Alright, I think this one is unnecessary. We have extra large versions of the Fairy Tail pop-up parades. It looks like they're a little bit different from their regular counterparts. Like, you can see Lucy doesn't have her lasso, and the big one has the hair ties. I think 200 is a bit much for these figures that aren't really dynamic. It doesn't really make sense to have a blown up version of these, but at the end of the day, I guess it really depends on the level of detail. But if somebody else wants to take the plunge and order these, I am very curious to see how these turn out. Overall, I think the best and most exciting pop-up parades are going to be the Hololive figures. I think Sakura Miko and Marine are going to have the most attention to detail and care, while the most disappointing and probably worst value figure taking the biggest L is the XL versions of the Fairy Tail pop-ups. Of course, that's just my opinion, but I'd love to hear yours in the comments. Sorry I couldn't get everything from WonHobby in one video. I was running a little short on time. Of course, if you want to see me talk about the other figures, subscribing would be awesome. But as always, thanks for watching, and I hope to catch you on the next video. Bye bye.